First, I'd like to begin by thanking you. If you're watching this video, it means that you are interested in educating yourself about candidates for our upcoming election. An informed electorate is important more now than ever. So I commend you for taking the time to get to know a little bit more about us. For those of you I haven't had the privilege to meet, my name is Towle. I grew up in Lake Bluff, attended Central School, West School, Middle School, and Lake Forest High School. I started my public safety career as a volunteer for the Lake Bluff Fire Department over 20 years ago. And for the past 5.5 years have served on the village board, first as clerk and now as trustee. It has been an incredible opportunity to give back to the community that has given me so much. And if you believe I have brought value to the board, I would be honored to continue to do it for another 4 years. Now I'd like to give you a little bit of my background. After graduating from Lake Forest High School in 1999, I attended Miami University for a couple of years before graduating from Southern Illinois with a degree in fire service management. I worked as a police officer and firefighter for the village of Glencoe, and now I'm a lieutenant for the Niles Fire Department. My wife Lauren grew up in the Hinsdale area, went to U of I and Loyola Medical School, and is now an emergency physician at Lovell VA Medical Center in North Chicago. We moved back to Lake Bluff in 2013, shortly after we got married, and have since had 2 children and a black lab. I am a product of this community and have tried to get back, but I will never be able to return what is owed. Lake Bluff is a special place, and although we take it for granted growing up here, with so many Bluffers returning to raise their own families, it's clear we have something unique. Some may call my votes on certain issues protectionists, but I believe that what we have is worth protecting. Having said that, we are faced with new challenges that will require new ideas, and with open collaboration, we will not just meet those challenges, but thrive in a way that brings us together and makes us stronger. Lake Bluff is an incredibly unique and vibrant village, with an amazing mix of young families, longtime residents who are now empty nesters, and seniors who have no desire to leave their cherished village. We are a community of generally open-minded people willing to try new things, but with a respect for our history. We have a diversity of backgrounds, workplaces, and family structures, and I truly believe there is no better place in the world to raise a family. As great as our community is, one new goal I have is to strengthen the environmental awareness of our residents and for the village to be a role model for other communities in our sustainability practices. In the past year, we have made some small steps toward encouraging our residents to install rooftop solar panels and drive electric vehicles, but I believe the village itself can begin converting to lower carbon footprint equipment and vehicles, reduce our environmental inputs on village-owned property, and explore regenerative landscape practices. As the village itself becomes more environmentally conscious, it becomes easier to expect others to do the same. Additionally, we are so fortunate to have a community that gives back as much as it receives. The volunteer spirit is alive and well, though one of the goals I had in joining the board was to get more young people engaged. We've had some success, as evidenced by the candidates for other boards, specifically the school board, but we have a long way to go. I plan to continue encouraging our younger residents to get involved, to fill board seats, or just to volunteer for some of the many great organizations we have in town. Lake Bluff owes much to its volunteers, and it certainly would not be the same vibrant community without them. There are many current and future challenges that the village faces, but the one that will always be an issue is financial sustainability. Aging infrastructure, increasing costs of labor and materials, and meeting service level expectations all require us to maintain diverse sources of revenue and strive to find efficiencies at all levels of the organization. Over the past several years, the village has done an excellent job of reducing costs through shared services, outsourcing, and obtaining grants for capital projects. But unfortunately, the pandemic will create additional challenges for our budget. Reduced sales tax receipts will require us to prioritize our capital improvement plan and may mean that some projects have to be pushed back. These projects are important, but in the face of reduced revenues, we are all tightening our belts a bit. My commitment is to explore all options before resulting to increased property taxes. The priority now is to keep our businesses in business so that when we return to some level of normalcy, they can hit the ground running. I am proud to say that the current board has been very accommodating to the needs of our businesses over the past few months, but we need to do what we can to continue to support them. Our business owners have offered wonderfully creative ideas, and I'm certain that if we continue to partner with them, we will come out of this stronger and more resilient to future challenges. There are few things more important to a municipal government than land use and development planning. A well thought out comprehensive plan allows village boards with different faces to have a long-term blueprint for what the village should do in terms of redevelopment. Poor planning results in inefficient and sometimes even awkward design. I am a proponent of planned redevelopment. Vacant lots, unless designated as open lands, and vacant buildings are unproductive and oftentimes eyesores. There is a balance that must be met when contemplating new development. We cannot be so prescriptive that builders and developers aren't willing to invest in Lake Bluff, but we also can't be too laissez-faire and allow developers to operate without oversight. I believe the planned development ordinances we have been using for the two contentious properties are effective tools, but unfortunately the economics haven't worked out for the property owners. More specifically, I voted to restrict Block 3 to 2 stories, and I can't think of anything that would change my mind on that particular property. The Stonebridge redevelopment is currently the subject of litigation, so we'll have to wait for the court's decision to see what direction it will be going in the future. Thanks again for taking the time to watch these videos. I hope you all share my optimism for the future of the village and look forward to continuing to work on your behalf.